Hey everyone! DIGITAKT II is here. Let's check it out. They look extremely similar, but this isn't a Mark II. Underneath the familiar exterior lies a device with revamped internal components, also subtly noticeable by a slight increase in weight of 40 grams or 1.4 ounces. The most obvious visual difference are these LEDs, which give away one of the new features. The sequencer can now have up to 128 steps. Most exciting is that we have now a master overdrive, finally injecting the fun into samples. So let's hear it. More distortion, more distortion. And you can also hear it has no stereo. In fact, DIGITAKT II has 16 stereo tracks. Each of the 16 tracks can be either MIDI or audio, so it's now the same system with machines that can be a MIDI machine as on the Syntakt. Another major new feature is that we now have 20 GB of RAM available, and each project can hold up to 400 MB of samples, which equals 72 minutes mono or 36 minutes stereo audio. With the 16 tracks, there's a lot of real estate to plaster the air with noises and layer sounds on sounds. Or you don't use samples at all and control 16 other synths or 15 synths and have one stereo sample track. The effects have now a dedicated button labeled FX in this row and are joined by chorus, which also contributes a lot to good sounding arrangements. We also got a third LFO to have even more possibilities for sound design and making samples vivid. Included is LFO slew, just as the analog Rhythm recently got. DIGITAKT II comes with new filter modes called filter machines. Let's play around with them. First up, there's a new multi-mode, which lets one morph from low pass to band pass to high pass. A 4-pole low-pass filter with a 24 decibels low. EQ, which one can use as a peak or notch filter. This functionality was already included in the original filter, but is now sleeker and allows for greater control and fine-tuning. Filter, another exciting new addition. And lastly, Legacy, which is said to be inspired by the low pass and high pass from the first DIGITAKT. There are now glide and legato options, as we know them from Digitone and Syntakt. Let's have a listen. And here is filter key tracking. Here's the feature everybody waited for except me, kids. But I'm still happy since we don't have to use them. In this implementation we can either completely ignore kids or do use them, which is a significant step up in comfort from Rhythm and look for in Dr. Track, and I'd love to see kids in those electrons streamlined with the DigiTakt II. Thanks to the DigiTakt II being in stereo, we can now sample things in stereo from other synths, complete with stereo effects, or even resample DigiTakt II's own output with all stereo effects and panning information, and have a copy to chop up and mangle on one track. I have resampled a complete pattern and let a DigiTakt II load on a track. And let me get the tempo right. Adjust the volume. And I'm using grid, as slice is now called, to chop it up a bit. A new sample machine is Stretch, which is a cleaner, less old-school version of Verb. Rhythms got their own page, which means we can apply Rhythms to all steps at once. Also from the Rhythm we get the Euclidean sequencer mode. Euclidean rhythms are based on evenly distributing a chosen number of beats across a chosen number of sequencer steps. The positions are rounded to actual steps, and the results are the most boring rhythms in the world. However, ELEKTRON throws in 2 generators per track, and that's where the fun begins. The 2 generators can be linked with one of 4 selectable Boolean operators, OR, XOR, and subtract. For example, in AND mode, only those tricks are generated where the pulses of the 2 generators coincide. Additional parameters allow the 2 generators to be shifted relative to each other, as well as shifting the result as a whole. Speaking of the sequencer, it is now possible to combine fill, condition, and probability locks all together, which gives way for a lot of creative uses. New conditional tricks, referred to as not AB, allow, for instance, that a trick can be set to play on every repetition except the 4th. AMP envelope got an ADSR mode added for finer control over transients. Envelope reset and amp reset can be turned off on a per-step basis. One more new button is labeled KB Setup, where you can find keyboard fold and set a scale and a root node if you are into that kind of thing. With kits comes the Performance Kit mode. In this mode, a kit is retained across all patterns and can then be completely messed up, and when the mode is turned off, everything returns to its original state. Mutes can be prepared instead of executed instantly. It is possible to exclude tracks from Control All. It is possible to exclude tracks from the compressor. Chorus is available for the external inputs as well. There's a MIDI learn function. CCs can be given names and be saved with MIDI configurations as presets. Instead of 8, now 16 CCs can be controlled. However, still no retricks via MIDI. There are more metronome options, letting one set time signatures, for example. And also exciting are the new so-called Trig Modes. Tracks is the regular mode where the sound of a track is played when the corresponding key is hit. Velocity mode lets one play one sound at different velocities. Retricks mode does the same for retricks. But the clue is preset pool, which enables one to finger drum the sound pool instead of the track sounds. Also while the arrangement is playing. Something I almost did not notice until I wanted to put the protective cover from Wavetable on. The encoders are slightly wider spaced. So, I like to say that Digitakt was always my least favorite Elektron, but with all the new features, Digitakt II has become one of my favorite Elektrons. Now, how does the new Digitakt II position itself against the Octatrack, the original Digitakt, or other samplers such as from Teenage Engineering, Akai, Roland, and so on? Well, I don't give a flying f*** because I'm too busy making music with my Digitakt II. Let me know in the comments if this new version of Digitakt is what you were hoping for. And as always, don't forget to subscribe for horrible noise and tutorials about horrible noise and classic sounds, and check out my sounds and samples over at designwitchcraft.com. All samples in this video are taken from my current and upcoming sample packs. You can also become a patron or join a YouTube membership. For the horrible noise. Bye!